All over the world, dating from a remote and mysterious period of prehistory for which no records have come down to us, there are monuments like this. These monuments have a number of things in common. First and foremost, enormous blocks of stone, gigantic, weighing hundreds of tons. Secondly, very precise, scientific astronomical alignments. And thirdly, the greatest mystery of all, we don't know who built these monuments. We don't know when they were built, we don't know why they were built, and in most cases we have absolutely no idea how they were built. And thirdly, the greatest mystery of all, we don't know who built these monuments. We don't know when they were built, we don't know why they were built, and in most cases we have absolutely no idea how they were built. Historians and archaeologists present us with a kind of sanitized view of the past. We're presented with a picture of the past as though everything's sewn up and sorted out and everybody knows exactly what's happened. But if you go into this in depth, as I have done, what you find is that these historical opinions are pure speculation. They're not based on solid evidence at all. A monument like this one, made of stone, cannot be dated by any conventional means. All you have are the opinions of scholars, and whether it's here in England or in Egypt or in South America, the problem remains the same. Massive, completely anonymous monuments about which we know nothing, around which historians and archaeologists have elaborated fanciful theories based on absolutely no evidence whatsoever. All that we know about the people who built these monuments is what we can deduce from the monuments themselves. And if we look at these monuments with open minds and open eyes, we find something very interesting. Firstly, that the level of technology involved in creating them was high, the lifting and maneuvering of these huge blocks of stone. And secondly, that they incorporated fantastically accurate astronomical alignments, which could only have been the result of a very accurate observational science. So this is what the monuments tell us. They tell us that the people who built them were serious and intelligent people with a scientific outlook on life. And that's the testimony of the monuments. And no matter what the historians or the archaeologists say, the monuments continue to tell us that story.
Graham has used the phrase that I think is absolutely brilliant, that I've borrowed a few times, that says we are a species with amnesia. Graham has used the phrase that I think is absolutely brilliant, that I've borrowed a few times, that says we are a species with amnesia. How well Graham has used the phrase that I think is absolutely brilliant, that I've borrowed a few times, that says we are a species with amnesia. How well said, how beautifully stated. And so he is doing work that is so important.
Go there. So we say, they are yet babies with no memory. For if any event has occurred that is noble or great in any way conspicuous, whether it be in your country or in ours, or in some other place of which we know by report, all such events are recorded from of old and preserved here in our temples, whereas your people and the others are but newly equipped every time with letters and all such arts as civilized states require. And when, after the usual interval of years, like a plague, the flood from heaven comes sweeping down afresh upon your people, it leaves none of you but the unlettered and uncultured, so that you become young as ever, with no knowledge of all that happened in old times, in this land or in your own. Certainly the genealogies which you related to just now, Sola, concerning the people of your country, are little better than children's tales. For in the first place, you remember what one deluge, though many had occurred previously. So long, oh so long. You Greeks are always children, for there is not such a thing as an old Greek. And on hearing this, Solon asked, "Oh, you hack me up in a temple in front of my brethren, them son." And the priest replied, "God, you are a boy compared to I. For therein you possess not a single belief that is ancient, nor derived from old tradition, nor yet one science that is hoary with age." Yeah, we have to replace the memory. Replace the missing pieces of our chronology. The history versus ancestry. Yeah, it's a big one. So according to their history, we are all babies. But according to our history, is them are the baby and we. Yeah. Or if we think Count Constantine de Volney in the 18th century, 1787, after seeing the Sphinx in Egypt, said, "Just think that this race of black people, today our scorn, slaves, and held to the object of our scorn, is the very race to which we owe our arts, our sciences, and even the use of speech, utterances." Your baby. Get ready for the journey. We will be introducing you to the Osorian tradition and replacing the dismembered pieces of the fragmented body. Yes, we will bring down the memory. Anu Osa for eternity.
Righteousness is a more. I and I will squeeze the wicked cause. Squeeze them around. Squeeze them around. Righteousness is a more. I and I will squeeze the wicked cause. Squeeze them around. Squeeze them around. While the wicked are right, Jaja a white house. Come and run up your land mouth. Righteousness is a must. I and I can reach them cross. While the wicked are right, Jaja a white house. While the wicked are right, Jaja a white house. So make them run up their long mouth. He says to make them run up their long mouth. For the lion are the winner, the lion are the winner, the lion are the winner. The lion are the winner, the lion are the winner, the lion are the winner. Jackie is the winner, you gonna lose the winner, for the lion are the winner. Jackie is the winner, you gonna lose the winner, for the lion are the winner. And 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 the lion are the winner. Jackie is the winner, you gonna lose the winner. The lion are the winner, and the lion are the winner. The lion are the winner.
Shoo! Hey, in a style, you know? And I saw it style upon style, gas boy, the scribe of the Netaru, inappropriately called gods, for want of a better terminology. But the deity, another misrepresentation, which represents wisdom, knowledge. Tehuti, also spelled with a DJ, ED. As well as TEH for their pronunciation purposes. See how much we have to unravel it, but the Jed column, we will soon work with it. But this character, this faculty, this attribute that is assigned to me spiritually, represented by the ibis bird or a baboon. Yeah. Tehuti is connected to the moon, wisdom, the scribes, and the sciences. He's associated with Thoth, also associated with Hermes. Hermes fall under the auspices of the planet Mercury, whereas Tehuti falls under the auspices of the planet Jupiter. So there is a slight misconception when they place and confuse these two characters, one on top of one. But this faculty deals with word power, intellect and wisdom, as they say. But really, it is the inner intuitive faculty. Also seen with the measuring stick for the cubit, and all measurements are assigned at this level on this premises. And we associated Tehuti with the role of this. So it was also written that at judgment time he would write down the results of the weighing of the soul. In the soul, the heart is measured against the feather. If the heart was found heavier, judgment, bigger. So, we are familiar with our inner intuitive faculties, seen here holding the ankh, the two receptors, the tradition symbolically of the life force and the spiritual power, the levels to which we must attain and maintain in our higher brain, on a higher plane, on a new terrain,